The next topic I'm going to be exploring is my mother's death. Now, I loved my mother terribly, you know, she's just the most amazing, strong woman. She's just amazing. But she collected a lot of objets d'art. Basically, she had a lot of things given to her in life, lots of antiques and lots of beautiful things given to her. She tended to get, in the latter part of her years, unfortunately, she tended to lose the quality items, which were, were from Art Nouveau period. There was 60s stuff, lovely memorabilia she had. She had lots of Art Deco work. She had beautiful Victorian stuff that was given to her as well. But anyway, she got cleared out by, as many old people do, by someone who came along and said, "Oh, lovely, I can put that in an auction for you. You can make a lot of money," and da da da. And of course, it all went. So she then inherited some money. She started to collect objets d'art of her own. But basically, the objets d'art that she collected was from shall we say, the Chinese or Asian market of reproductions. And so she ended up with a lot of stuff which hasn't quite got the quality of some of the things that she had at one point. But for her, they were like a solace to this loss. So she collected a lot of china, crockery, images of women, basically, and some mental things as well. So I'm going to be bringing them down to the beach hut, and I can't sell them. This is my dilemma, because I loved my mother and because she left me virtually the contents of her house, which many people would say, I'll just call this number and just get rid of it all, but because she was my mother, every these objects have memories for me, and I just can't bring myself to part with them. I've managed to sort of stuff them in cupboards and loft spaces and various places in my home, basically I feel a bit cluttered, but I cannot get rid of them. So my experience is going to be, I'm actually covering my beach hut with canvas, so that I'm covering the whole of the beach hut with a cotton duck canvas raw. It's going to be stapled, hammered and nailed as far as I can to make a reasonable painting surface onto the surface of the interior of the beach hut. And I'm going to show you a picture of Paul Nash, which inspired this combination. Did this fantastic room interior of cliffs, right? Okay, right, using the surreal like Magritte. Basically, you've got an interior, so you would have a fireplace, you'd have a light, you'd have normal things in it, wouldn't you? But Magritte would have then done, he'd done the train coming out of the flipping fireplace. And then he did loads of other things, the apple and the bowler hat and stuff. He then, how he did that in his brain, I don't know, but he then thought he put the outside inside, the inside outside, the outside inside, the inside outside of this room. So suddenly, you had a room space, which is through the two-dimensional drawing, and you had the outside on that room. So, it's a mind game. Always loved the drawing. I keep living and looking with the drawing. But what I wanted to do was to somehow encapsulate memories of my mother's objet d'art, collection of junk, basically. So I'm going to take a piece down to the beach hut each day. It's going to go on a table, and I'm going to look at it and meditate on it, and then I'm going to paint it on the walls of the beach hut, so that it's like going to be like a still life, a collective still life of objects, which develop over the time of the 2 weeks. So it's going to be like going back to early feminist work, but it's developing something of me. So I'm doing it for me. It's nobody else. I'm not doing it for anybody else. It's going to be an experience for myself. I'm going to be going into myself. I'm going to be looking at, reflecting. I'm just going to be. It's a great cathartic experience, and and I'm really keen on that. And I love oil painting at the moment. I'm just sort of like, oh, oil painting. So even though technically probably the whole experience would be better done in watercolour painting, and one of the artists like Elizabeth Blackadder, I mean, gosh, you know, she used still life objects and made this incredible, these placed sort of things, which I love, Elizabeth Blackadder. Use those objects in sort of the same way, so they might be a lot displacement. So that's harping back to surrealism. There'd be a distortion of scale and size within these objects. I don't know how it's going to work. I don't want to know how it's working. I just want to be able to respond. And it's cathartic for me. It's going to be experience, and I'm just going to give people my YouTube. So they're going to look at me. I mean, you're going to get Bournemouth Beach Hut. People walking past. There'll be some people who are going to come and see me because they're interested in art. The other people just will, what on earth's going on in that beach hut? You know, what is happening? What is happening? You know, so they might curious look in, but I don't think I'll be able in a mental state to actually explain the whole full details, which I've just done on the YouTube. So I will say, this is my YouTube channel. Would you like to have a look? And this will fully explain what on earth I'm doing. Be fully raw. Honestly, this is about being fully raw. I mean, honestly, this whole spirit and energy comes because I got this mental clarity. I've almost been a complete vegan for it's under a year, but I was a vegan before that, you know, but then I relapsed, and so I'm back and in an ethical way now. I know why I want to be a vegan. I know exactly what I'm going to do. My daughter is an absolute inspiration, you know, sweet sugar crumble.